Hello everyone, welcome to another module in Communication System 2 course. In the last segment, we saw one class of spread spectrum technique called as direct sequence spread spectrum. For its operation, we saw that the system requires that the locally generated PN sequence used in the receiver to despread the received signal be synchronized to the PN sequence used to spread the transmitted signal in the transmitter. A solution to the synchronization problem, although it can be seen to be that synchronization is a problem, a solution can be thought of to this problem can be consisting of two parts. One is acquisition and another is tracking. In acquisition, two PN codes are aligned to within a fraction of the chip in as short a time as possible. First, acquisition, the PN codes are acquired. Once the incoming PN code has been acquired, then tracking takes place. For tracking, it is accomplished using phase lock techniques very similar to those used for the local generation of coherent carrier references. And hence, synchronization can be achieved by acquisition and tracking methods. Also, we saw that the direct sequence spread spectrum technique, it uses a PN sequence to modulate a phase shift keyed signal, which achieves by instantaneously spreading the transmission bandwidth. The ability of such system to combat the effects of jammers is defined in terms of processing gain of the system, which is actually a function of the PN sequence period. The performance or the ability of direct sequence spread spectrum technique can be measured in terms of processing gain, which will be dealing in forthcoming videos. As of now, you can say that processing gain is function of PN sequence period. The processing gain can be made larger by employing a PN sequence with narrow chip duration, which in turn permits a great transmission bandwidth and more chips per bit. However, the capabilities of physical devices in reality used to generate PN spread spectrum signal impose a practical limit on the attainable processing gain. Okay? You cannot have very narrow chip duration PN sequences. It's almost practically more difficult to generate such sequences. Indeed, it may turn out that the processing gain so attained may not be large enough to overcome the effects of some jammers. Okay? In which case, we have to resort to other methods. One such alternate method is to force the jammer to cover a wider spectrum by randomly hopping the data modulated carrier from one frequency to the next. In effect, the spectrum of the transmitted signal is spread sequentially rather than instantaneously. The term sequentially refers to the pseudo-random ordered sequence of frequency hops. The type of spread spectrum in which the carrier hops randomly from one frequency to another is called frequency hop spread spectrum. A common modulation format for FH systems is that of M-Array FSK, frequency shift keying. Okay. Although PSK modulation gives better performance than FSK in an AWGN channel, as you might have seen in your unit 2 in terms of probability of error, it is sometimes difficult to maintain phase coherence in the synthesis of the frequencies used in the hopping pattern, and also in the propagation of the signal over the channel, as the signal is hopped from one frequency to another over a wide bandwidth. And hence, consequently, FSK modulation with non-coherent detection is often employed with FH spread spectrum signals. And hence, if it's a non-coherence technique, then we need not worry about the synchronization problem as it was case in direct sequence spread spectrum. In a frequency hopped spread spectrum communication system, the available channel bandwidth is divided into large number of contiguous frequency slots. In any signaling interval, the transmitted signal occupies one or more available frequency slots. The selection of frequency slot or slots in each signaling interval is made pseudo-randomly according to the output from a PN generator. Okay, this diagram illustrates a particular FH pattern in the time frequency plane. Okay, this is how you can say that frequency hopping happens with respect to individual symbol duration of time. All right. So let's try to understand the block diagram and functionality of FH MSK transmitter. This involves frequency modulation, it involves FSK modulation and followed by mixing. First, the incoming binary data are applied to an M-array FSK modulator. The resulting modulated wave and the output from a digitally generated frequency synthesizer output are then applied to a mixer that consists of a multiplier followed by a bandpass filter. The filter is designed to select the some frequency component resulting from the multiplication process as the transmitted signal. In particular, successive k-bit segments of a PN sequence drive the frequency synthesizer, which enables the carrier frequency to hop over m, which is 2 power k distinct values for M-array FSK signal. On a single hop, the bandwidth of the transmitted signal is the same as that of resulted from the use of conventional MFSK with an alphabet of capital M is equal to 2 power k orthogonal signals. However, for complete range of 2 power k frequency hops, the transmitted signal FH MFSK signal occupies a much larger bandwidth compared to the conventional MFSK. Indeed, with the present day technology, FH bandwidths are in the order of several gigahertz are attainable, which is in order of magnitude much larger than achievable with direct sequence spread spectra. An implication of these large FH bandwidths is that coherent detection is possible only within each hop, because frequency synthesizers are unable to maintain phase coherence over successive hops. Accordingly, most frequency hop spread spectrum communication systems use non-coherent M-array modulation schemes. In the receiver, the second half of this block diagram, which is the receiver as shown here, the frequency hopping is first removed by mixing or down converting the received signal with the output of a locally generated frequency synthesizer that is synchronously controlled in the same manner as that in the transmitter. The resulting output is then bandpass filtered, which is inside the mixer itself, which is a combination of product modulator and bandpass filter, and subsequently processed by a non-coherent M-array FSK detector. To implement this M-array detector, we may use a bank of M non-coherent matched filters, as you have seen in demodulation of M-array FSK signals. We can use bank of M non-coherent matched filters, each of which is matched to one of the MFSK tones. Okay. An estimate of the original symbol transmitted is obtained by selecting the largest filter output. That's the case with the match filter detection. In this FH system, which we have just explained, the carrier frequency is pseudo-randomly hopped in every signaling interval. The M information bearing tones are contiguous and spreaded in frequency by 1 over Tc, where Tc is a signaling interval. The separation between two frequencies is 1 over Tc. The type of frequency hopping, and hence it is called as block hopping. Another type of frequency hopping that is less vulnerable to some jamming strategies is independent tone hopping. In this scheme, the M possible tones from the modulator are assigned widely dispersed frequency tones or frequency slots. One method for accomplishing this is shown here. Here, the M bits from the PN generator and the K information bits are used to specify which frequency slots to be used for the transmitting signal, and hence it is called as independent tone hopping. Okay. These are the two varieties of a frequency hop spread spectrum technique which can be implemented. An individual FH MFSK, which is frequency hop M-Array FSK tone of shortest duration is referred to as a chip. This should not be confused with the terminology chip that we had used for describing a direct sequence phase shift keying technique. Okay. The chip rate RC, for an FH MFSK system is defined as maximum of either RH or RS, where RH is called as hop rate, RS is a symbol rate. Okay. A slow FH MFSK signal with the based the relation between RH and RS, there can be two flavors of frequency hop spread spectrum techniques. One is slow frequency hopping and another is fast frequency hopping. A slow frequency hopping signal is characterized by having multiple symbols transmitted per hop, and hence each symbol of a slow FH MFSK signal is a chip. In the sense, RC is equal to RS. Okay. Correspondingly, in a slow FH MFSK system, the bit rate RB of the incoming binary data, the symbol rate RS of the MFSK signal, the chip rate RC, and the hop rate RH are related by this expression, where RC is now equal to RH, where RC is equal to RS, where RS is greater than RH, where multiple symbols are transmitted per hop, and we know that symbol rate is can be expressed in terms of bit rate as RB over K, where K is the number of bits which are used for grouping to generate M-Array FSK signal, and of course this is greater than RH for the slow frequency hopping, where K is log M base 2, where M stands for a number of levels for MFSK. At each hop, the MFSK tones are separated in frequency by an integer multiple of the chip rate RC is equal to RS, ensuring their orthogonality. As we know that this separation of frequencies in MFSK should follow the orthogonality principle. The implication of this condition for the frequencies to be orthogonal to each other means that any transmitted symbol will not produce any crosstalk with other M-1 non-coherent matched filters constituting the MFSK detector of the receiver. Okay. By crosstalk, we mean that a spillover from one filter output to an adjacent one. The resulting performance of the slow FH MFSK system is the same as that for the non-coherent detection of conventional or unhopped MFSK signals in additive white Gaussian noise environment, and hence the interfering or jamming signal has an effect on the FH MFSK receiver in terms of average probability of symbol error equivalent to that of AWGN on a conventional non-coherent M-Array FSK receiver experiencing no interference. And hence we can evaluate the performance of slow frequency hopping as that of a conventional MFSK signal in AWGN environment. In contrast to that, a frequency hopping spread spectrum technique differs from a slow FH MFSK system in that there are multiple hops per M-Array symbol, and hence in a fast FH MFSK system each hop is a chip, and hence here RC will be equal to RH. In general, fast frequency hopping is used to defeat a smart jammer tactic that involves two functions. A smart jammer who is trying to intentionally jam the actual information signal consists of two major functions. One is measurements of the spectral content of the transmitted signal. First, he'll try to measure using any handheld spectrum analyzers, as I had stated in earlier videos. That is one part of the jammer, and another one is to return the interfering signal to that portion of the actual frequency band. Clearly, to overcome this smart jammer, the transmitted signal must be hopped to a new frequency before the jammer is able to complete the processing of these two functions. Okay, so the hopping should be so fast in fast frequency hopping to defeat this intelligent jammer. Okay, so for data recovery, for demodulation at the receiver, non-coherent detection can be used. However, the detection procedure is quite different from that used in a slow FH MFSK receiver. In particular, two procedures may be considered. One could be based on a majority vote, where separate decisions are made on the K frequency hop chips received, and a majority estimate can be used in order to detect which is the actual frequency at that particular symbol duration. Another procedure, as we are much familiar with this, is likelihood functions are computed as function of the total signal received over K chips, and the largest one is selected, and hence it is called as maximum likelihood estimation. A receiver based on the second procedure, which is maximum likelihood, is optimum in the sense that it minimizes the average probability of symbol error for a given signal to noise ratio. This completes the working and the principle, the concept behind frequency hop spread spectrum techniques. However, we are left with a performance analysis or quantitative analysis of both the varieties of spread spectrum technique, direct sequence and frequency hop spread spectrum. In forthcoming videos, we'll try to understand the performance measurements of these two spread spectrum techniques. Thank you.